If you spot these signs in yourself, your trading will never be the same again. Most traders work hard, follow signals, and watch charts endlessly. But the real edge isn't in what you do. It's in how your mind works under pressure. In this video, we uncover the hidden traits, mental shifts, and fearless habits that separate consistent winners from everyone else. Watch closely, because recognizing these signs in yourself could instantly unlock the mindset that turns ordinary traders into unstoppable market dominators. The first sign of a winning trader begins long before consistent profits appear. It begins in a place where most people don't look: your mindset. Specifically, the way you respond to uncertainty, discomfort, and delayed gratification. The psychology of detachment. Every trader starts the game emotionally charged, excited by the possibility of big wins, scared of losing money, rushed by impatience, and constantly searching for shortcuts. But as you mature, something deep inside begins to shift. You begin to detach from impulsive behavior. You begin to see the market not as a place to get rich quickly, but as a long-term environment that rewards discipline and emotional control. In early stages, traders jump from strategy to strategy. They watch many YouTube videos. They look for magic indicators. They hope someone will tell them what to do. A winning trader, however, starts developing internal decision-making. That's the first big sign. You stop outsourcing your thinking and start trusting your growing skill set. You begin to understand why a setup works, not just that it works. You start journaling, not because someone told you to, but because you genuinely want to understand your behavior and refine your edge. Another major shift that marks the birth of a winning trader is the moment you stop comparing yourself to others. In the beginning, most traders feel jealousy or frustration seeing others win. They wonder why they aren't improving fast enough. But eventually, a winning trader detaches from external benchmarks. You no longer care if someone made $2,000 and $1,000 today and you made 20. You no longer feel pressured to catch up. Instead, you narrow your focus to your own consistency, your own progress, and your own improvement curve. You understand that mastery takes time and that the only competition is who you were yesterday. Then comes a deeper transformation, an obsession with process over outcome. Early traders are obsessed with the results of one trade. They celebrate wins emotionally and panic during losses. But a winning trader sees a much bigger picture. Every single trade is just one sample in a long series. A loss is nothing but data. A win is nothing but confirmation that your system is working. You stop feeling the emotional roller coaster because your identity is no longer tied to individual outcomes. The professional risk framework. At this stage, risk management finally becomes something you take seriously. In the early phase, traders know risk management is important, but they ignore it. A winning trader, however, truly understands that improper risk will destroy them, even if their strategy is good. You start risking less, trading less, and focusing more. You stop swinging for home runs. You become strategic. You accept that not losing is more important than winning big. You finally internalize the truth that longevity beats aggression. And then, slowly but surely, your relationship with losses transforms. This is one of the biggest and most surprising signs of a winning trader. You stop being afraid of losing. Losses don't scare you anymore because you know they are part of the game. You embrace them. You study them. You use them to refine your edge. Losing no longer disrupts your emotional state. Instead, it fuels your understanding. You also begin to see the market differently, not as randomness, not as chaos, not as an enemy, but as an environment you must adapt to. You begin to recognize patterns and behaviors that most ignore. You begin to understand timing, momentum shifts, accumulation, manipulation, and liquidity. You stop fighting the market and start letting it tell you what phase it is in. You adjust, you adapt, you grow. Finally, you develop patience, the rarest commodity in the trading world. You start waiting for only the highest quality setups. You skip low, probability trades without feeling FOMO. You enter late rather than early if confirmation is needed. You hold winners longer because you trust your read. You cut losers quickly because your ego is no longer attached to being right. This is the beginning of becoming a winning trader. Not profit, not a big trading account, not fancy tools, but this transformation, this quiet psychological shift. And every winning trader in the world has gone through it. Emotional mastery and neutrality. Emotional mastery is the silent foundation of every winning trader. And the moment you begin developing it, your entire trading world starts to transform in ways you never expected. In the early stages of trading, emotions control everything. Fear pushes you out of good trades. Greed pulls you into bad ones. FOMO forces you into impulsive entries. And frustration triggers revenge trading that destroys your account. But as you evolve, you begin to step into a different psychological space, one where your emotions no longer dictate your decisions and your reactions become measured, intentional, and calm. This shift does not happen quickly. It begins with small moments where you notice yourself staying composed in situations that once triggered chaos. Maybe a trade goes slightly against you, and instead of panicking, you breathe. Maybe you miss a setup, and instead of chasing it, you accept it. Maybe you take a loss, and instead of spiraling emotionally, you analyze it. These small signs are the earliest indicators that emotional mastery is forming. A winning trader understands that emotions themselves are not the enemy. It's the lack of control over them. Emotional mastery does not mean you never feel fear or greed. It means those emotions no longer influence your execution. You feel the emotion, acknowledge it, and act according to your plan, not your impulses. One of the clearest signs of emotional mastery is the ability to pause before reacting. Early traders operate in pure reaction mode. They see a candle move and jump in, see a wick and jump out, see a loss and double down to fix it. But a winning trader develops space between stimulus and response. You pause before entering. You pause before exiting. You pause before adding risk. This tiny pause is one of the greatest superpowers in trading because it prevents emotional decisions from slipping into your execution. The shift to probabilistic thinking. Another sign is emotional neutrality toward money. Most traders obsess over dollar amounts, how much they made, how much they lost, how much they need to recover. But as you move toward becoming a winning trader, money becomes secondary. You stop seeing trades in terms of dollars and start seeing them in terms of R, multiples, probabilities, and execution quality. This shift detaches your emotions from your results. A 100 loss feels the same as a 1,000 loss in terms of emotional impact because both are simply outcomes. This is emotional maturity. You also begin developing emotional resilience, the ability to withstand losing streaks without mentally collapsing. Early traders fall apart after a few losses, questioning their strategy, their skill, and even their worth. But a winning trader understands variance. Losing streaks don't shake you anymore. You don't rewrite your system out of fear. You don't panic. You don't react impulsively. Instead, you investigate, was it market conditions, execution mistakes, or normal statistical variance? This analytical response is a major sign that you're evolving. One of the most powerful indicators of emotional mastery is the disappearance of overreaction. Wins don't make you euphoric and losses don't make you depressed. You remain centered. Emotional neutrality is the highest form of trading maturity because it prevents both overconfidence and emotional destruction. Winning traders know that both winning streaks and losing streaks are temporary, so they never allow emotions to swing too high or too low. Another sign is improved self-talk. Early traders speak to themselves harshly after mistakes, calling themselves stupid or hopeless. But as you develop emotional mastery, you switch to analytical self-talk. You ask questions: what triggered this decision? What fear was I reacting to? What can I adjust next time? This type of self-dialogue makes you more self-aware and helps refine your decision-making. Emotional mastery also shows itself in boredom tolerance. Early traders need constant action. They crave movement in trades, but a winning trader becomes comfortable with waiting. Boredom no longer feels like a threat. You understand that most of your job is waiting for high-quality setups. You accept that silence is part of the game, the architecture of the winning mind. Most traders believe strategy is everything, but strategy alone has never created a consistently profitable trader. What truly separates the winners from everyone else is the way they think, the strategic mindset that rewrites their entire relationship with the market. In the beginning, traders think emotionally, randomly, and reactively. They want quick wins. They want shortcuts. They want certainty in an uncertain environment. But winning traders think differently. Their minds operate on principles, logic, structure, and long-term probability. This shift in mental operating system is one of the biggest signs that you are becoming a winning trader. The first aspect of the strategic mind is the transition from prediction to preparation. Early traders want to guess where the market will go. They obsess over trying to know the future. They draw arrows on charts hoping price will follow. But winning traders stop predicting and start preparing. Instead of asking what will happen, they ask what could happen and what will I do if it happens. This mindset transforms trading from emotional gambling into professional execution. You no longer marry a bias. You no longer force a direction. You create a game plan with multiple scenarios and remain adaptable. You stop arguing with the market and start flowing with it. That adaptability is one of the clearest signs of a strategic mind. You begin seeing the market not as bullish or bearish, but as a sequence of evolving conditions trending, ranging, consolidating, accumulating, distributing, trapping, sweeping liquidity, and manipulating. You start understanding that your job is not to impose your logic on the market, but to align yourself with its behavior. This awareness leads to the second major trait of a strategic thinker. You begin valuing context more than signals. Early traders look for signals, indicator alerts, candlestick patterns, breakouts, crosses, thinking these alone create an edge. But winning traders study context, where the signal appears, why it appears, who benefits from that move, and what phase the market is in. Execution excellence and systemization. Execution excellence is the hallmark of a winning trader, the invisible discipline that separates those who talk about trading from those who consistently profit over time. Many traders spend years learning strategies, indicators, and chart patterns, but fail to understand that without precise and disciplined execution, all that knowledge becomes useless. Early traders often have good ideas, but their execution is flawed. They enter late, exit too early, ignore their rules, overtrade, or manipulate their own positions based on emotion. Execution is not just about clicking buy or sell. It is the consistent application of a plan over and over in an environment that constantly tests patience, discipline, and decision-making. A winning trader begins by understanding that execution is a skill separate from analysis. You can identify the perfect setup, but if your entry is delayed, your position sizing is incorrect, or your stops are ignored, the potential edge is lost. Excellence in execution starts with preparation. The trader who executes well prepares meticulously, marking levels in advance, defining stops, determining risk, and planning multiple scenarios. They do not rely on reaction. They do not guess. They operate from a place of clarity and control. One of the first signs of execution excellence is consistency. Beginners execute inconsistently. Sometimes they follow rules perfectly, other times they improvise or chase. Winning traders execute the same way every time, regardless of the outcome. They follow their system with discipline, knowing that consistency compounds into results. Timing is another critical aspect of execution. Entering too early exposes you to unnecessary risk, while entering too late reduces your edge. Winning traders have honed their timing to a fine point. They watch liquidity, volatility, and market structure to determine the optimal moment to act. They understand that execution is about precision, not speed. Scaling and long-term evolution. To truly expand into the realm of elite performance, you must move beyond the basics of surviving and into the science of thriving. This expansion begins with the optimization of your trading environment. A winning trader recognizes that their physical and digital workspace influences their mental clarity. You start treating your desk as a cockpit, removing distractions and ensuring that your data feeds are clean and your execution tools are streamlined. But the expansion goes deeper than the desk. It reaches into your daily schedule. You begin to understand the circadian rhythm of the markets, knowing when the London and New York overlaps provide the highest volatility and when the mid-day doldrums are a trap for the board. You stop trying to force profit out of a stagnant market and instead align your peak mental energy with peak market opportunity. Furthermore, the expansion into a 5 sovereign character plus mindset requires a radical shift in how you view the edge. Most beginners think an edge is a specific pattern like a head and shoulders. But the expanding trader realizes the edge is actually a statistical advantage over a large sample size. You begin to think like a casino owner rather than a gambler. A casino doesn't panic when a player wins a hand. They know the math ensures they win over the year. When you reach this level of expansion, your focus shifts toward data science. You start tracking not just your profits, but your maximum adverse excursion and your maximum favorable excursion. This granular level of detail is where the extra 5,000 characters of your trading story are written, in the nuances of the data that others are too lazy to track. The infinite game of mastery. As you continue to expand your trading identity, you realize that there is no to this journey. The market is a living, breathing entity that evolves every day. To remain a winner, you must become a lifelong student of human behavior and macroeconomics. You start looking at correlations, how the US dollar affects gold, how treasury yields impact the Nasdaq, and how global sentiment shifts the flow of liquidity. This expanded view allows you to see the shadows of the market before the light of the price action even hits the chart. You begin to trade with a sense of quiet confidence, a state where you no longer need to prove anything to the world or to yourself. You simply show up, execute your process, and let the numbers take care of the rest. This is the ultimate sign of a dominator when trading becomes boring. If your trading is still exciting, you are likely still gambling. When it becomes a repetitive, professional, and almost clinical process of managing risk and recognizing patterns, you have arrived. You are now part of the 1% who take money from the 99%. Your journey from a frustrated beginner to a strategic master is complete, but your evolution as a student of the markets has only just begun. Every day is a new paragraph in your expanded legacy, and every trade is a character in the long-form script of your financial freedom. Next step for you. Would you like me to create a custom trading journal template or a checklist for pre-market preparation based on these winning traits?